Hey, it's Sam, and I'm here in Boulder, Colorado, at the foot of the mountain hotel. And I'm talking about Mercury in Aries. You see all the red of the hotel behind me. Beautiful place here in Boulder, Colorado. And talking about Mercury in Aries. So when Mercury is in Aries, the faculty of speech, communication, and discrimination in the mind is very fast, moves very quickly. It can be impatient, and one of the biggest things we have to be careful of is that we don't gather information or be impatient with information. So this can be really difficult because Mercury is actually a planet that moves like side to side. This is what Rajasic planets do. A planet that's Rajasic moves side to side, which means it's not so focused on a goal, okay? It's not so focused on getting to the goal. It's actually more about enjoyment and figuring things out and being playful, okay? And Mercury really embodies that function in your life and in your mind. So when someone has a powerful Mercury, they gather a lot of information and details, and they're very flexible and open and intelligent. They're not trying to form opinions, which is the nature of Mars. So Mars is basically our opinions, which are the conclusions that we've drawn based on the information that we've gathered. And Mercury is the planet that gathers the information. So as I say, Aries is ruled by Mars. So when we get Mercury in Aries, we tend to make up our mind too quickly. We tend to not gather enough details before we want to form an opinion. We form opinions too quickly. We get this much information and then say, oh, okay, it means that. You'll often see, like, if someone has Mercury and Aries in their natal chart, they'll tend to, like, interrupt you when you're speaking. They interrupt. They don't listen so well. Let's say you're trying to explain something, like, for instance, if someone has Mercury and Aries and they're listening to this video, perhaps they heard the first couple sentences, and then in their mind they're like, okay, I get it. Okay, I know what that is. Okay, I formed an opinion now about what that is. Okay, yeah, Mercury's this. Okay. Get to the next thing. Come on, the next thing. Because that's what Mars is. Mars is the ruler of Aries. So because Mars, and especially through Aries, is always moving forward and trying to get to the next thing, It's focused toward a goal, and Mercury is not focused toward a goal. The goal of Mercury is to figure something out, is to gather information and enjoy that. Mercury is the part of you that enjoys gathering information, or we may call it curiosity. You know how you're curious about a lot of things. And when you're curious, you're not trying to form an opinion. You're trying to see how it works. And then let's say now you've figured out how it works. Then, after you've finished and there's nothing more to gather, there's nothing more to know and nothing more to learn, then you have a strong idea and a strong, let's say, opinion about what that is, and it allows you to actually do something with it, which again, doing something with it is Mars. So one of the other problems that can happen when Mercury's in Aries is we tend to act without a lot of intelligence. We might act too quickly before we have gathered enough information and figured something out well enough. So again, because because Aries is about actions and Mercury is about ideas, it's like, oh, okay, it's like this. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. No, wait, we need to figure things out a little bit more first. We need to make sure there's enough gas in the tank before we drive, right? Recognizing how much gas is in the tank is like a Mercury detail, right? We say, okay, let's drive all the way here, and oh yeah, well, we're about to hit a stretch of highway that's rural and there's not going to be gas stations, so I better make sure there's enough gas, Mercury detail. Oh, I forgot to check that detail, and then we run out of gas, for example. Now there's also some good things, of course, about Mercury and Aries. And I'm talking about the sort of difficulty because it's not one of the easier places for Mercury, given the things I'm talking about. But one of the things that you will see when Mercury is in Aries is, there is a very sharp and perceptive mind, a mind that tries to pierce through the sort of illusion of information. So, for example, one of the things that can be difficult for Mercury is we can get sort of trapped in the game, trapped in the playfulness of everything, and just always be playing and playing and playing and never get anywhere with something, okay? So when Mercury is in Aries, we definitely, as I said, we have a goal, and we're very focused on the goal. At least Aries is focused on a goal. And so this can help that Mercury part of us. And of course, if other things are there, I should say this can help that Mercury part of us not just hang out in this playfulness that doesn't go anywhere. And so especially if other planets are there, like let's say if the Sun is also there, because Sun and Mercury are never too far away. Of course, the Sun is exalted in Aries, so that can be, more helpful and solid because the Sun is a very solid energy. So you'll often see when people have Mercury in Aries, they're very curious, because that faculty of, information gathering is fueled by the intensity of Aries. But again, they need to make sure to listen more, be more patient, not speak harshly, not speak quickly, not get into arguments. Make sure to listen more, gather more information before you form an opinion and before you know what's right. But then once they do take action, because Aries is very much about action, Mercury in Aries allows the person to grow in skill through their actions. So through making mistakes and through, impulsive actions, Mercury there can bring greater skill. Wherever Mercury is, regardless of the dignity or regardless of the disposition, Mercury is going to help us grow and develop our skills in that area of life. So when it's in Aries, a person will develop their skills through taking action, and they'll eventually gain greater skill through action. So these are a few things to think about with Mercury in Aries.